Alright, hello everybody, welcome to Today Isle. I'm Calixian, and today I'm going to show you how to make my version of a survival fire. Basically, I don't follow the rules. I usually take a little something with me whenever I go out, just to be on the safe side if I'm going somewhere, not on my property, but if I'm going hunting or hiking or something. I'll take something with me to help me start a fire if there was some kind of situation. Now, today, it rained. And it rained hard, it rained a lot. So everything is saturated. But I have a little trick that I use to get tinder to start a fire. Now, to sustain a fire with this kind of situation, a little more difficult. But I find a tree that's just a stump, and I kick it over, which I've just done. And then I dig around. Well, focus, will you? There you go. Because the inside is actually fairly dry. So the key is to gather some of this, which will catch, or help catch. Now it's not always dry. You have to kind of feel it and detect, and you have to go inside a ways. But a little bit of this makes really good tinder. Alright, so I'll get a spot where I can start, and I'll show you how I do it. Alright, so this is old man's beard. That's what we call it anyway. It's a type of lichen. And it grows ubiquitously on trees around here. These are particularly large clumps, and they are really wet. Ugh. But they're big enough that hopefully I can shake them out as I walk and get a lot of that water out of it. Because this stuff makes extremely good fire starter. Makes a great nest that burns very quickly. Great starter. The rest, unfortunately, is quite damp, so I'm going to leave it, but I'll continue foraging for materials as we go. Alright, so I've got a shot set up, kinda. We'll see how it works. I'm going to put the tinder down here. Hopefully you can see. I'm dubious about the ability of this moss to actually ignite. I'm going to put it around the edges. That way I can tip it in as needed. And break up the kindling that I brought. Put that nearby. Because this goes fast. It doesn't give you a lot of time to react once you get it going. Okay. Now, by default, the magnesium strip comes with a little like hacksaw blade for striking stuff off. But I find I have this speedy sharp tool, and it's far superior for grating off little pieces. And you want to do a coin-sized piece, roughly. There's a little bit of wind, which will hamper my ability to get this where I want it to go. Hopefully my hat is not in the way. I can see the magnesium actually flying over here, so I guess I'll do it a little closer to the top. This is actually the hardest part of lighting a survival fire using magnesium, is actually getting enough to do the job. Not really sure if that's enough, but I'm going to ignite it and see if it works. I'm actually not going to use this for that purpose. I'll use the stock tool. I find it gets a better grip. Lots of mosquitoes. I'd say there isn't enough magnesium in there. Like I said, this is the hard part. It's actually getting enough in there to make it work. Okay. Starting to look like I might have enough. So, I'll get the tinder ready. And I'm going to give this a whirl. Let's see what we can do. Aha. This is the most tenuous time in fire lighting, is when you just get that first flame. Because it will go out very, very quickly if you do too much to it, not enough to it, all those factors. You don't want to smother it. You just want to kind of let it go. Let it catch the things that you've brought it. In this case, some twigs, a little bit of kindling. That moss isn't doing me any favors, unfortunately. It's too wet. Yeah, it's looking like it could taper out, and I know that moss, boy oh boy, too wet. Under normal circumstances, if it had been dry enough, this would have been perfect. The moss would have been excellent for starting. I don't even have any additional resources to put on top of this little fire because everything is so wet. But this is providing me with some warmth. It's, you know, good for the mind to have something to focus on when you're maybe panicking about being lost. So that wind is pretty strong too. If you can shelter it in the early stages, it will actually light things better. The wind does help to kind of inflame the embers, get them really going. See how when I pull my hand away, it lights up again? Oh, we just lost our flame. That's kind of bad. But like I said, the wind helps it to reignite. Not all is lost. Once you have the red ember base, you can, even if it goes out, you should be able to get it to go again by blowing on it sufficiently with enough flammable material on top. It is producing quite a bit of smoke, which is unfortunate, but if it was a survival situation, that is not a bad thing. If you are going to try to light survival fires, or fires in general, please be aware of your local fire regulations. Right now, we have had rain and fog and just dampness for the last couple of weeks. I know that we are in the green for fires anywhere in the province, so it's fine for me to do this, but there are times of the year when, you know, if it's been dry, you're just not allowed to do what I'm doing right now, so be aware of your local regulations for sure. There's something really relaxing about a little fire like this. It's just so peaceful, meditative. I'm glad I could share it with you. Bunchberry bush is going to get a little bit toasty, but that's okay. 1,000 billion zillion more. Where that came from. Oh, it's such a good time of year right now for finding mushrooms of various types. I've been looking everywhere. There's not a lot of really good edibles right now, but for spore printing, it's kind of ideal. There's so many different varieties. So let's go take a look at how you do spore printing. I'll show you what I do and how it could be used for both identification purposes and art. Thanks. So I went to the woods the other day and I saw that because it is mushroom season, it's the end of the summer, and there's all kinds of these types of things growing. All these cool mushrooms growing out in the forest. Now, I can't identify them. I don't know what they are, so I would never in a million years eat any of these. But, as you can see, they're a cool color. They're like a purpley mauve kind of color. And I thought, what a perfect type of mushroom to do spore printing. So if you've never done spore printing, it's actually a really neat kind of artistic-y kind of project. And I'll show you how it's done. It's pretty simple. Basically what you do is you take the mushrooms and you break off the cap. And then you use the cap, you put it face down here on a black or a white surface, depending on the spore print. And then you add a couple of drops of water on the top surface of the mushrooms and leave it for about 24 hours. Alright, so I've cut the stems off of a few of these. So I'm going to put this big guy all by himself. We'll do him in the middle. So face down, right? I've got a bright yellow one here that I thought might make an interesting pattern. Got some of these smaller mauve ones here that I'll put on this side. Maybe do one of these lighter brown colored ones as well. And I think, let me see, I have this other yellow one. Might be a fly cap, I'm not sure. If it is, it's very poisonous, but we're just making art. We're not ingesting. So I'll put those two yellow ones on that end. Alright, now I'm just going to put a drop of water on the tops of each one to trigger the spore production. And I'm going to leave it for 24 hours and I'll show you the results. For science. Alright, so here we are 24 hours later. And I can already tell that there's definitely some spore activity. So let's start with the yellow. Well, not a lot here. We got white spores. Ooh, focus. Here we go. Some white spores on about half of it. Cool. We got this little guy here. I can definitely see some spore activity. And it's a very pale colored spore. I'm not really sure what color that is. Kind of a grayish, which is weird for a yellow mushroom with a yellow underbelly, but that's why spore printing is so neat. And this purple mushroom left a very rusty brown spore print. So you can see that the spore print, or the spores, or the gills I should say, are purple, but the spore print is a very rusty brown. It's kind of cool, but it also tells me that it's not a bluet. I was thinking maybe they were bluet mushrooms, but that is not the sign of a bluet. This one, slightly different, but it's more of a brown color. The spore print came out more of a gray, not a rusty brown like that. Could have to do with the maturity, I'm not 100% sure. And last but not least, we got this little guy. And it's the same type. Again, this one has no hole in the stem, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's different. It could just be that something bored through the stem. And it didn't leave a whole lot for a spore print. There's a slight pattern, but not a ton. So yeah, that's how you do spore printing. Pretty cool process, and the result is actually quite aesthetically pleasing. You could potentially do, some kind of art with this, and it's definitely something I'd like to do if I come into some more mushrooms. All right, well, there you go. Short video on how to do spore printing. Thanks for watching.